Hi everybody, it's me again, Charles Norm from Sports Solutions LLC. We are the creators of AthleticSOS. It is a software technology that allows you, if your kid is trying to get an athletic scholarship and you use our software, they're going to put in all of their academic information, the sport they play, the level they think they can play at, and the area of the country they're looking for, and we'll show them the schools that match up to them academically to have their sport at that level, and then we show them how to go in and reach out to those schools and let them know where they're going to be. So what we're trying to do is switch it around. Instead of them waiting, going to the combine and the showcase and the viewing tournament or whatever they're going to, instead of waiting to get discovered, let those schools that you're interested in know you're interested in them and where you're going to be, and let them send somebody out to see if you can actually play at that level. And so we're just trying to turn things around a little bit, put a little more in control of the kids. But the bigger thing we're trying to do, and I always talk about this, is that we're trying to get it so that our kids learn how to do some research, find out what they want to do as they move on, so that if they go to a school, they're going to be happy for all of that time that they're there. And if for some reason they're not playing, they're at the right place they want to be in. And then the bigger thing is that they figure out that, hey, if there's something I want to do, I can do a little bit of research, I can reach out, I can let people know, and then when I get in there and I get in that room, this is where I want to be and this is why I want to be there. And you start to live a different life than just hoping, going to job interviews, things like that, going to a school because the school is looking for you, or it's in your neighborhood, or it's nearby, or you know about it, or your parents went there, or whatever the other reason is. Go where you want to be. Do the things that you want to do in life, but do a little bit of research so that you can get in there and do the things you want to do. There's no reason going through all of this time and just doing things because you need money in your pocket or you need something like that. So that's kind of the way we live. And now we have a high school version. So if you know a high school coach, you have a travel club. I'm working with some travel club programs now that are actually pretty cool. So we're working with them. It's a little bit different, but the high school version is going very well. Everybody's getting geared up and they're trying to make sure they can log in. People are calling me all last week just to make sure they've got everything right, and they've done the little training we have on the site when we signed up. They're getting their coaches in the system. They're getting their counselors in the system. I'm actually really excited about this year for school. School's going to start in a couple of weeks, and so that's going really well. And so this weekend, I had an opportunity to go and speak at a basketball camp. And I've spoken, I've done pitches up in the tech units. I've done, we go to exhibits all the time. We go to all of the high school athletic directors conferences. So I'm used to talking in front of groups of people. But this one had me a little bit nervous because they had, I could talk to high schoolers all day because our software kind of goes with the high school level. But this one, they were going to have high school kids, they were going to have junior high kids, and they were going to have elementary, 3rd through 5th graders. And and I have an hour to speak, and I can talk to high school students for hours. But what am I going to do with a bunch of little kids? And I know how restless little kids are, so I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do. And so when I was going into this, and I knew about this a couple of months ago, so I've been really this summer, even though we're trying to update the software, I've been going to everything I can, just on sports in general, because there's this one question, and I get it almost everywhere, and no one can answer it to me. It doesn't seem like they can. What is the one thing? Everybody, so when I was doing this camp, the first thing I would do, I'd come in there, I go, hey, how many of you guys play travel club? Raise hands. They put their hands up. I said, how many of you guys are going to try out for your high school team for the kids that weren't in high school? Everybody in the room's raising their hand up. I said, how many of you guys think you're good enough that you're going to work hard enough, you're going to be able to play at the collegiate level? All the hands go up. And it's interesting because the little kids' hands went up right away. I said, okay. I said, well, last one. How many of you guys think you're going to play at the professional level? You're going to get paid to play basketball. Whether it's the NBA, overseas, G League, whatever it is, somebody's going to pay you to come play basketball for them. And now fewer hands went up because I don't think people want to seem so arrogant. And what was interesting was the high school kids had the fewest number of hands go up. I think that reality is hitting them as they move up through the ranks, and then they don't want to seem like, dude, you're not going to play, because they'll talk back and forth each other. But the little kids, the 3rd to the 5th graders, every hand went up. They didn't even hesitate. And I thought it was funny. And I said, so what I've been doing the last few months is I'm trying to figure out what is the one thing, what is the thing that's going to get you pushed over. And so what I took with me was, I just happened, I guess it's been a month and a half. I went to an event, and I go to everything, man. I go to coaching clinics. I talk to professors at schools. I've been talking to you guys earlier about, I've gone to these conferences on vision and cognitive and even oxygen generation for athletes. I just go to anything I can. I read white papers. I'm talking to kinesiologists. I'm just trying to figure it out. What is the thing that's going to get you, separate you from everybody else? Because everybody's got their hand up in that room, and I'm sure there's classrooms like that all across the country, all across the world. They're all got the same thought process. So what's the thing? What is it that's going to get you there? And so this one conference I went to was for AI in sports. It was AI, and so here's what they did. They took the Golden State Warriors, they took their starting five, and they put it in this, they took their combine scores, whatever they did for the NBA combine, they took all of that information, the coach's notes, I guess how high you can jump, how fast you run, how your reactions are, whatever they do in those combines. And then they asked AI which one of these players is going to have the best NBA career. And so I asked all the kids in the room, I go, who do you think it was? Who do you think? Just the starting five, that's all they did. They did the starting five for, and this was recently, so it was for last year, basically. And so everybody's running, going back and forth of who they thought it was. And the interesting thing was the person who won was Andrew Wiggins. And then they all went, what? Hi, what? And I go, think about this. If you were building a basketball player, Andrew Wiggins is it. He's 6'7", 6'8". He can run the floor. He's really a smart, heady player. He can shoot the two-pointer. He can get to his shot any time he wants to. He can shoot the three-pointer. He can play with his back to the basket. He rebounds really, really well. He defends really, really, really well. He is the ultimate basketball player when you look at it as what a basketball player is. And he's had a decent career. But then everybody's going, well, look at Curry, look at this. And so this is really interesting to me because they did basketball, but then they started doing it for all these other sports, and I don't know all these sports, right? So they did it for some soccer teams for overseas. I don't know any of those people. They did it for softball. They did it for this Olympic team. They did it for the ski team. They did it for all these different things. And it was always the player that you thought that won the thing was never really the star player, not the breakout person. And so the conclusion I took they didn't have a conclusion of the thing or what it is. Basically what they were saying you couldn't tell. But here's what I came up with, and this is my theory, and you guys can write down and let me know if you think I've got this right. Because this is what I told the kids yesterday. I said, the best chance you have to make it as far as you want to go is to be the best version of you. And of course, I even roll my eyes when I say things like that, but I knew what I meant when I said it. So if you can be the best version of you for whatever sport, whatever job, whatever you're going to do in life, that is your best chance to break through and really do great things and be great at it. And so we went further into how do you become the best version of you in basketball, right? And so I went through a lot of things, but one of the things I started with was the idea that you have to understand in a sport, and I heard this in a different lecture, that whatever sport you're playing, there's that one thing. There's the thing that is the key for that sport. And so I asked the kids, I go, you guys play basketball. I go, what's the most important thing you think that will get you to the next level? And the kids are pretty smart. They got their coaches in the room too. They're on the side, but the kids are all in the middle sitting in these chairs. And there's 175 for each session. I did 4 sessions yesterday. And so I said, hey, what would it be that will get you to the next level? And they started talking all the stuff that they thought would sound good to their coaches, right? You're going to do hard work. It's what you do on the court and off the court. And these are little kids saying this too. I mean, all of them are kind of saying the same thing. I can tell their coaches telling them that you're going to practice hard, that you're going to work harder than everybody else, that you're a good person, that they're saying all the cool things. I go, no, take it back a little bit. You're just playing the sport. Forget all the personal things. What is it about the sport? What do you need to do? And then finally, the junior high school kids kind of got it better. They go, got to put the ball in the basket. And I go, exactly. You got to put the ball in the basket. That's the key to playing sport. I go, so how many of you guys are like really good shooters that you can just shoot really well? And so very few hands go up. I go, how many of you guys can get to the basket? Just get around your man, you get to the hole and you can finish. And most of the hands in the thing went up because that's what they take pride in, breaking somebody down. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then I said, okay, what if I told you guys I can make you in 2 weeks, you can be twice as good a shooter as you are right now. Just 2 weeks, I can just show you what to do. And so I took some things that I learned from some of the other things I went to, and I gave them some just overviews of what it takes, just from a physics standpoint, what would it take for you to be a great shooter? And I just went through all the different things that I had seen in this thing. And I don't want to bore you guys with all that stuff. But so I went through step by step by step. And then I said, here's what you guys are going to do for me. You're going to do a workout, and you're going to work out against 3 people. And they're going to be invisible. You're going to be by yourself, but you're going to be working out against a really tall player. You're going to be working against a shorter player that's all in your grill, is all in your body. They're just trying to snap the ball out. They're shorter, but if you can get the ball over them, you believe you can get that shot off. But it's the final one that is going to be the difference maker for you. You're going to go against yourself, the version of you you're playing against, just in your mind, because the brain is the most powerful thing you have, man. Your brain will do whatever you tell it to do. Anything you're feeding into it, your subconscious, it will spit out in your life. So you're playing against a version of you. But the key is that this person knows everything you want to do. So usually when you're playing basketball, you're trying to make your move, you're trying to do everything, and you're saying, okay, I'm getting ready to go to shoot, or I'm going to drive past this person. Whatever you're thinking, that other person knows. Now you got to beat them. How do you beat the person that knows exactly what you're thinking? Now you got to do something off the wall. You got to make a split-second decision, because you got to get that person off balance into whatever you're doing, and they know you're about to go into a shot. You can't have that in your mind. You're just looking for your opening. And then I told him something that I realized when I was working with my daughter and my son. There's a moment when you have the basketball that person that's guarding you is not ready. You know it. You have that moment. And so what I told them to do is, for the rest of the tournament, because they're going another couple of days, for the rest of this tournament, I want you guys to look for that moment. You've got the ball, that moment when you said, I could have took that shot, or I could have went, I could have done this, I could have done that. So we talked about that. So. And then the other thing we talked about was, you have to be, because I talk to college coaches all the time, when they're coming to see you participate, and I'm sure this is for every sport, they're looking to see who's on the court at the end of the last 5 minutes of the game, because that's telling them that this coach trusts that kid. And so you could be fancy, you could be the starter, you could play the most minutes, whatever, but the game's on the line. It's 5 minutes left. Who's in the game? Who's playing right now? That's where you want to be. You want to be in that game. And what does that mean? And for coaches, a lot of times they won't tell you, right? Well, they'll tell you no turnovers. They're looking for kids that aren't going to turn it. And if you are going to turn it over, it's not a careless turnover. It's not an unnecessary. You're not trying to overdo it. Number two, coaches take all the time and effort they have to try to create a system, a set of plays, how you're going to play the game, why you're doing it, what your counters are. Then they need you to do it right. You need to be precise in what you're doing. Even though in the game it won't be as precise, you got to make sure it happens. If you need to set that screen, you need to get that screen on that kid so this other kid can come around so that everything else works. Are you willing to do that? Are you paying attention enough to do it? And so I talked about that. And I said, and then here's the final, and this is the one that coaches don't tell kids, and I think they should tell them a little bit more. There's going to be a moment, maybe you're running the play, but time's running down. We need to get something going, right? We need the score. We need something to happen. And it's not your responsibility that we're working on a shot for some kid coming around a screen, or we're trying to get an ISO for this kid over here. We just need to let them come around so they can get the ball to them up top, and it's taken away. Or time's running out. Things aren't working right. You got the ball in your hands. You see an opening. Do you take it? That is what they'll never tell you this, but they need to know that everybody on that court, if everything breaks down and whoever's got that ball will take it. And even if the other play is working and there's an opening, you'll take that too. And if you miss it, they're going to get on your case. Who told you to do that? Blah, blah, blah. But they need to know that you're willing to take it. And so that takes away from that kid that does everything by the book exactly right, and they get frustrated. They're sitting on the bench. They're like, how come I'm not playing now? You know, I do everything the coach said. I don't mess up. I don't get turnovers. I don't do all that stuff. You still got to have that little bit about you that says, hey, there's an opening right here. I got to go. I got to do this. And so, anyway, so we had this long thing. So I'm going to admit, I was a little bit nervous about the junior high kids, and because I didn't really have a lot. Our software, I showed them the software, and I got, how do I put the greatest part about this was after the session, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I got, my son's with me, and there are coaches sitting around, and I'm not sure how it's coming across because I can't see. But as I'm talking, there's a few kids, and there's always knuckleheads. It's 175 per thing. There's always a couple of knuckleheads that always got a little extra to say. I had people raising their hands, so they couldn't stop talking after, and I had to slow everybody down again and calm them down again because I'm trying to get what I want to get out. But what I started to see was see some kids just start leaning forward a little bit. They didn't want to say anything to their peers. You don't want to look like the geeky kid in the class, but I could see some of the kids like leaning forward. They wanted to hear what I had to say, what I was imparting to them. And so I said, okay, I got a few of the kids here. But when I finished and I said, hey, you guys, best of luck to you guys. Hope you guys get everything you need. Here's the code. You guys can, for the software. In fact, I got so soft after the first one that I was giving the software again. I was just supposed to show them the software, but I'm giving them a code so they can use, just like I do for you guys. If you look down below, I give you the code. I give you a link to a video so you can see what the software does. But I'm giving the software away now. And my son's laughing. He goes, I knew you were going to do this. But anyway, the point was all the kids started coming up. They go, thank you so much. Thank you for the information. So when you're talking about, shooting and, all this, and they're asking all these questions, and, I kind of got in my feelings about it, because I really believe in this next group of kids are going to be completely different than everybody else. I'm thinking I'm losing them because I can't tell. I can't read their faces. I can't see what's going on. A few of them I could see. And then some of the ones were clowning around, especially the little kids, 3rd or 5th grader. I didn't expect much out of them, but a lot of them came over. In fact, a lot of them, their coaches would get up. The ones that kept on acting up, they'd take them and put them over to the sides, which was cool. All the coaches were helping me out. And then after I finished talking, and the kids are coming up and everything, the coaches, before all that finished up, the coaches go, hey, every session, one of the coaches get up and go, hey, you guys just got to learn a whole bunch of stuff, and I hope you guys are taking all this stuff in. So they appreciate it, because we had a bunch of coaches that had a chance to go pro. They all played college. A lot of them had an opportunity to go pro. Things didn't work out for them necessarily. And so they were trying to convey their world. And I don't think they talked to their own kids about this stuff before, but it came out in this meeting. And that's what we need to have. We need to go a little bit further with these kids. And I know it seems to be a headache, and maybe I'm making a bigger deal out of it than it was, but it just inspired me. I was driving home, and I'm just excited. And I'm going back next week to do the girls program. Same camp, but it's the girls' turn. And so I'm going to gear up and do a few more things when I get there. But I guess what I was trying to say was, what is that one thing? What is the thing that's going to get you to where you want to go? And it is being the best version of you. You got to figure out what that is. And I'm going to try to figure that out for every single sport. And I actually, in a month and a half, I'm going to Hawaii, because I went there for the Hawaii Athletic Directors Conference. And there's going to be a group that's going to take me and show me about rowing and sailing. And so I'm actually pretty excited about it. I know nothing about rowing or sailing, but they're going to show me, and we're going to talk about the high school kids and what they need to do and how they're training and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to learn everything I can for all 32 of those sports. I'm going to do the best I can do. So if anybody has a program anywhere, especially in the Southern California area, that shows how to do any of the sports that a high schooler or a younger kid can learn, and I can learn, what does it take to get to that next level? What is it going to take to become the best version of that individual person? I love to know about it. Just send to me charles.norman@athleticsos.com. That's charles.norman@athleticsos.com. And I'd love to come out and see what you got going on. If there's a chance for your sport to get an athletic scholarship for college, let me know about it, and I'd be glad to come out. So anyway, guys, best of luck to you guys in everything you're doing. Again, look down below. I give you a code. I give you instructions for how to use the code. And you guys well, I did give it away this weekend, but you guys are one of the few people that are taking time out to watch what I'm doing here. And so if you're doing that, I want to reward you guys too. And then we got a ton of stuff coming out. All that stuff I was talking about for vision and cognitive and the oxygen stuff. I'm working with these groups too, and I'm going to tell you some of the stuff we're going to be doing later in the year. We're improving the software. I'm doing the updates in the next few weeks to get all the coaching information back in the software that's updated for the upcoming year, and just going on and on and on. We're going to keep moving forward. I hope you guys ride along with us. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. Hopefully get you guys where you're going. If you guys have programs, especially high school programs, travel club programs, I got stuff coming for you guys so you can work and help your kids. I definitely can't go to and speak every place that there is to speak or be in front of all these kids, but you guys can. You already have the program set up. If you have a business that works with youth and you want to add something extra to you should add our AthleticSOS stuff if it will help, if any of those kids play sports. We've got a church association that's working with us now, because they have a congregation. They're trying to get the young people to come back into church. I guess they're lacking there. So we're going to be working with them. So we'll work with groups that are looking to do something for the kids to move them forward in their lives. So anything I can do to help there, you got it. If I can do it. All right, guys. As always, best of luck to you in all your endeavors, and we'll talk to you next week. Keep on coming back here. We're going to have some cool stuff going on. Talk to you later. Bye.